Oh, welcome to our morning show. I'm going to share with you a little bit of some of the best products on Amazon for feminine hygiene. This is a topic that a lot of ladies are not interested in talking about with a lot of their clinicians because it's embarrassing. The topic of vaginal yeast and bacterial vaginosis, they all have terms or buzzwords that freak women out. And it is something that's very common and occurs all the time. And if you are new joining us here, my name is Dr. Melissa Gallagher. I'm a naturopathic physician, and I work with women who suffer from challenges with recurrent yeast infections or bacterial vaginosis or group B, or are experiencing vaginal dryness, or are trying to clear up those conditions and need some assistance. So I'm going to share with you some of the best products that you can buy here on Amazon that will support your feminine hygiene. So the first product that I want to start off with that is going to focus on remedying and clearing yeast infections via a vaginal suppository. So one of the things, the boric acid, that's what you're going to find here in the supplement. You can find it in the carousel below. This is one that will be inserted vaginally. And these products, they come in, it's a 30-day supply. One of these will be inserted vaginally via a suppository insert. And this is a great way to remedy yeast, which is unhealthy bacteria. Often it'll occur from either overwashing or even engaging in sexual relations with our partners. Our pH vaginally is very sensitive, and boric acid is a really good way of resolving pH-based imbalances that occur when women are experiencing an assortment of um, yeast infections and imbalances. So this is really, really helpful. By using a vaginal suppository, you are going to find that within 3 to 4 days, this will remedy any of the kind of excess of discharge or even gunky discharge, even the itchiness and irritation, and even the burn. I mean, there are so many different situations that occur when we use a boric acid suppository like this. This is linked down below. I have the NutriBlast boric acid that I recommend because it also comes with the 30-day suppository insert kit. This little capsule will dissolve when inserted vaginally. This is the magic that remedies yeast infections and bacterial vaginosis, BV. It tends to be a diagnosis that your traditional OBGYN will prescribe maybe some medication. Sometimes they just say, oh, let's let it run its course. But a lot of women have challenges. And this boric acid suppository, when inserted vaginally, can remedy and clear BV and yeast infections, Candida albicans that gets out of control. Now, one of the things that I recommend preventatively is women that maybe for whatever reason, their pH is very sensitive to their partner and they have yeast infections or just the recurrent kind of yeast imbalances after sexual intercourse. Adding this boric acid insert after sexual intercourse will be really, really powerful as a preventative aid. This can reestablish your pH instantly, and it allows your body to recalibrate and helps protect the vaginal mucosa. We have a mucosal membrane, just like we have our mucosal membrane in our oral cavity and our sinus cavity. The vaginal cavity, the vaginal canal, is very sensitive and is also highly absorbent. So when we add very clean, natural products like a boric acid suppository, this can really help clear and remedy any of the yeast infections that might occur. And you can take this at that early sign when you kind of notice some changes in discharge, the frequency of discharge. And ladies, I like to get graphic with my patients because it's important for us to be very open and transparent. When you can feel discharge being eliminated by your vaginal canal, it's time to consider a boric acid suppository. Boric acid has been researched and has a lot of clinical data as to the benefits of recalibrating and establishing the right pH balance within your body. One of the things that we find is with boric acid suppositories, we can eliminate the length of time of a yeast infection. We eliminate the need for you to take an antibiotic. We eliminate the antifungal. This is a great resource. And so link down below. So this is where I call in also another resource, and you can have two things happening at the same time. You can be using the boric acid suppository, and you can be using the tea tree therapy. In which case, the tea tree therapy would be one I would recommend only inserting. It's a suppository that you would use at night. So these are the suppository tabs. They peel and break off. I'll actually show you what one looks like. It's very similar to like the monostats, if you've ever had these. But this is a natural type of monostat where it simply has vegetable oil and tea tree oil. And it's a hydrogenated oil. And so the oil is kind of the delivery method. And this is what a suppository looks like. So this is tea tree oil. And honestly, if you purchase the boric acid suppository below, check out the carousel. There's an insert that goes with it. This is so great, you guys. I have used this frequently. It is very powerful at eradicating even non-related bacterial imbalances. So meaning a lot of women will get the yeast infection swab and comes back positive, but other women will say, I have a lot of discharge and I have just noticed things are a little different. Maybe there's a little odor, and that's, be totally frank, that can occur. When that happens and you're testing native for yeast, this tea tree oil suppository is a great resource because it'll clear up any type of other bacteria or exposure to unhealthy bacteria that is causing that overwhelm. So when we have an abundance of discharge, vaginal discharge, it's a cleaning process. So you have to think of it like, why is the body responding this way? It's responding because it is trying to clean up bacteria or an unhealthy environment. It's trying to recalibrate and clean itself. The tea tree suppositories are great for that. Tea tree oil is one of the most powerful antifungal, anti-inflammatory, antiviral, antimicrobial powerhouses. And when inserted vaginally, and it doesn't sting, it doesn't hurt. When I smell tea tree, it is a very antiseptic-y kind of fragrance. And it's actually used at a lot of spas. And you'll probably notice that if you have tea tree oil you're diffusing, it's a really good antiviral, antimicrobial. This tea tree therapy suppositories, these are fantastic for really promoting that vaginal health. And this is something too, now I don't have any specific clinical research to this particular type of virus, but I recommend tea tree therapy, this particular suppository, for women who have HPV, because HPV is a very prolific and very, it's prolific, and it's one of these lingering viruses that takes root in the cervical wall and the cervical cells. Tea tree oil, being antimicrobial, antiviral, is highly beneficial. Same thing, the boric acid. So these are two in conjunction. You can find these down below in the carousel. They're so fantastic. When women experience yeast infections, my second resource for you is a product by Pure Remedy. It's a feminine moisturizer, and it's what we call a healing salve. Now, this is something that is great for the external region, the labia, and the folds of the kind of pre-vaginal canal. This is a salve. It has a very light floral scent because there's calendula in this. Calendula is marigold, derived from marigold. Marigold and calendula in the kind of natural world, natural wellness, calendula is used to soothe irritation, redness, and inflammation. And this particularly is going to address dryness. So from a feminine hygiene perspective, this salve can be great for yeast infections and bacterial vaginosis. where we might have some open wounds, which can occur, and irritation of the skin and the mucosal lining. But this can also be used as a natural vaginal dryness reliever. So this is what this looks like. I'll put this right here. That's what this looks like, Pure Remedy. The salve itself, oh, it's so good. And I'll just take a little out here on my nail. So this is what it looks like. And it's this kind of yellow tinge. And it's very moisture dense. And when applied topically, it just melts right on in. So you kind of see the glistening. And I will say that this will not stain any underwear or clothing, but it has this kind of florally, almost gentle lemon scent, lemon fragrance. But calendula is the core kind of ingredient. It has also balsam fir, and it has, let me read to you specifically the ingredients here. So it's organic beeswax, organic calendula, that's what's in the salve. It has fir balsam, and it's wild harvested, which is great. So we're going to get a lot of wild harvested bark as well, elder bark, and an elder flower. If you're unfamiliar with elderflower, elderberries come from elderflower. Elderberries are very immune responsive. This also has some wild pine. All of these extracts are very pro moisture enhancing, but also very healing and soothing for any type of wound care of the vaginal tract. And I say wound care, I don't say this loosely, but a lot of times when we have any type of yeast infection, we will actually get abrasions and irritations, and sometimes we will have open wounds and sores. Now, if you might be dealing with perimenopause or menopause, it's not uncommon for us to have vaginal dryness. And some of those hormonal changes require a feminine moisturizer. So let me talk to you a little bit about internally healing and helping support your body when it comes to enhancing the good, healthy bacteria. I love to recommend raw probiotics. They have this wonderful, wonderful 50 billion probiotic strain, plus some other goodies, like some good extracts from natural plant-based foods. And it also will have a yeast digestive enzyme blend. There's a trio in here. This is what these little capsules look like. These you're going to take internally. So these you'd swallow with some water. One capsule is what you would take. And raw probiotic, they have, this is a huge assortment. Then they have an assortment of kefir strains. So kefir is a particular type of bacteria that will be found in kefir cultures and generally fermented like yogurts. But kefir is a different type of bacteria. And what we find is for feminine hygiene and the health of the vaginal canal, there's a direct correlation between our gut health and our vaginal health. So if you're looking to support good vaginal microbiota, this is going to be helpful. Now, this also will help in a preventative form, and it's also going to actively help to eradicate the candida or the cause of your yeast infection. So there are 3 enzymes, and I'm going to read them. It has cellulase, which is a digestive enzyme. It's like a Pac-Man. And so when cellulase gets in the body and it gets into the bloodstream, which is what we want it to do, it will go in and eat the yeast or the candida that ends up erupting throughout the body. We won't just see candida in the vaginal canal. If it's in the vaginal canal, it's going to be in the bacteria. It's going to be in your digestive process. And it's often going to be maybe in the scalp, in the ears. It can be on the tongue. You can tell by sticking your tongue out and seeing if it's kind of yellowy or kind of white tinge to it. That is going to tell us what's going on internally. From a vaginal perspective, if you are dealing with an assortment of discharge, and it's uncomfortable and you're frustrated by it, and let's just be real and transparent. And I've really, with my patients, we have to talk about this because it's not uncommon for women, especially in our 30s and 40s, and as we're kind of nearing perimenopause and menopause, for things just to start to kind of malfunction, if you will, where we're like, what's going on? We're having way more discharge than normal. Well, our immune health decreases as we age, and that affects our vaginal canal. So to support your vaginal immune health, you want to be taking a raw probiotic blend like this Vaginal Care by Garden of Life. This is what I recommend. It's one of the best that's out there. But those 3 digestive enzymes, really intense yeast digestive enzymes, are cellulase, hemicellulase, and lysozyme. Those 3 things are what is really critical. So if you are dealing with a yeast infection, and let's say you are on an antibiotic, you should be taking this plus a normal probiotic. The kefir strains, the kefir particular type of bacteria that you're getting here is often very different than your normal probiotics over the counter that you're going to get for your digestive process. Now, next up, I want to talk about one of the common reasons why women experience yeast infections. And it's often our feminine hygiene products, i.e. our period care products, tampons, pads. One of the things we don't always realize is that our vaginal wall, there's a mucosal lining. It's a single cell lining. It's highly absorbent. And all of the things it's absorbing all those chemicals gets right on into the bloodstream. What that means is exposure to bleach, which, by the way, if you're not using organic tampons, there's bleach, there's an assortment of toxic chemicals, toxicity in your tampons, as well as your pads. You're also going to be getting that absorption from the fragrance, which is if you're using fragrance pads or maxis, or overnight pads, and there's fragrance to it, it can be very, very problematic for your vaginal canal. So I like to recommend a menstrual cup. Lunette has this awesome menstrual cup. I'm going to share with you what it looks like. Menstrual cups have been around for, since I opened up my clinical practice and had a retail store in St. Pete, Florida. I have been recommending and highlighting the use of this menstrual cup. And what, simply put, is it's a cup. It's this little kind of cylinder cup that can be inserted. So squish and fold, and it can be inserted into the vaginal canal. It ends up opening up and basically creating the seal that we can then collect the period. I know that might sound a little crazy, but this is highly, highly beneficial. It's latex free, so you don't have to worry about any latex allergies. What I find is some women are allergic to the fragrances or chemicals in their pads or their tampons. And that then triggers this imbalance in pH, and boom, we have this sensitivity that then weakens the immune state of the vaginal tract and the mucosal lining of our vaginal canal. And then we are susceptible to recurrent yeast infections and bacterial vaginosis. This type of menstrual cup by Lunette, and they have different colors. I'm going to highlight, they have one right now. It's actually on sale. I love a sale item. So it's a blue one. It's a white box and it's blue. This happens to be a purple one we have here at our facility. It's right now on sale, $24.85. And if you think about it, 3 months of using this menstrual cup pays for itself. So you minimize having the need for tampons and pads and any of the assorted things that you're going to buy on a monthly basis. And let's be honest, if you're going to buy organic, it's even more expensive. So generally a 2-month supply is going to cost you $10 or $12. So 2 or 3 months, you'll get your value. And then you can reuse this over and over. I also am going to recommend, there's another thing in the carousel. They have a cup cleaner. And this again is paraben free. It's vegan. It's super clean. So you don't have to worry about it. But you would use a cup cleaner with this. Or you could use Castile soap. I use Dr. Bronner's to clean mine. And this is very beneficial. You also, if you're concerned about the environment and using materials, this is eco-friendly. And this actually shows you, so they're going to have specific details in the Lunette. You're going to have a really detailed guide of how to insert your cup. And it lasts up to 12 hours. So you would minimize needing to run to the toilet or having, those accidents, which we've all had in a meeting or in a place setting where it's just absolutely embarrassing. This cup eliminates that. This has an exorbitant amount of reviews. This is 4.5 stars on Amazon, and it's so easy. It's a pinch and fold once it's been cleaned, and you do clean it every 12 hours. And then for storage purpose, it has this little lunette storage container. It's not a storage container, but it's like a little tie thing, boop. And this you can put in your basket underneath your sink or in your bathroom, but it keeps it from exposure, UV light, any other things that might deteriorate. This is it's a latex free. So Lunette is great. It's a fantastic brand. I recommend this to a lot of my patients. And also if you're trying to go eco-friendly, highly beneficial to consider a menstrual cup. Now, next up, I have 2 more products I want to talk to you about. One of the things that I get asked very frequently on a lot of my YouTube videos is, what do I use as a natural lubricant that is free of mineral oil and all these other harmful ingredients, that's not going to offset my pH? Because that's another thing. Lubricants and even spermicidals and even condoms can create an imbalance with our pH. And so one of the products that I recommend is the Almost Naked Personal Lubricant by Good Clean Love. This is a petrochemical free, paraben free, glycerin free lubricant that is also going to give you what you want. You want some lubrication. And it's safe with latex. It's safe with any toys. And that's really important. It's not going to break down anything that you are using, but it will help to not offset that pH of the vaginal canal. And this is really, really wonderful. It's 95% organic. It has the core ingredient is an aloe leaf juice. And then it has lactic acid, it has sodium benzoate, and a potassium sorbate. This is really, really a good, clean, moisturizing lubricant that will not degrade some of the birth control methods that people are using. And so this is fantastic. You are going to see probably more of this in what I talk about here on Amazon, because Good Clean Love is very, very affordable. It's $6.99. And thousands of people have reviewed this. It comes in with really high reviews, but it also is a good, green, clean product. And they even talk a little bit about some of the technology here, but it's definitely what we recommend here at Natural Health Resources. What I recommend, one of a few that I feel are really good and minimize that whole pH imbalance. I think part of it's the aloe. Now, my last and final resource here is really all about supporting your hormone levels, because feminine hygiene has a lot to do with our hormones. And one of my favorite products is by Juvarente. Juvarente has a product called Ephisoy. And Ephisoy is this unique isolated compound in a fermented Asian soy. It's not a soy that's grown here in the US, but it's an Asian-based soy grown with the exposure to minerals in Japan, and has amazing, amazing power to promote estrogen balance. So a lot of women that have imbalances in feminine hygiene, meaning there might be a little bit of more odor, more discharge, changes in the color of the discharge. It's not the normal kind of cyclical like ovulation discharge. What we find is that this can be highly, highly beneficial to balancing your hormones. So I recommend this for women who are perimenopausal and menopausal, but I also recommend it for some of my younger patients that maybe they have hormonal imbalances and they're reaching for this Good Clean Love and they need some additional hormone support. Ephisoy is going to deliver that to you. The extracted fermented soybean, the actual live ingredient, it's not live, but it's the powerhouse ingredient is called Aglamax. And in this, it's 60 milligrams. Aglamax has been clinically researched in Japan for supporting and promoting balance of estrogen, but estrogen also is supportive of our feminine hygiene. If we have good balanced estrogen levels, we have a better turnover of our cellular tissue of our cervix and a cleaner, more lubricated, more healthy, more vibrant, more youthful vaginal tract. And FSOI can help also achieve that by minimizing stress and the imbalances stress leads to with our immune state. So it also has maca. Maca is an herb that's going to also increase progesterone levels. That's a very good hormone enhancer that helps with vaginal lubrication, but also strengthens that vaginal wall, the vaginal canal. And DIM helps our estrogen metabolism. So it helps really offset any of the estrogen imbalance that you might experience. So this is FSOI. This is such a great product. So if you also deal with hot flashes or night sweats, FSOI is the answer. It's $39.90. So it's 2 tablets would be a traditional dose. If you're having mild hormonal imbalance, you could take 1. So this could either last you 1 month or 2 months. But this is a really good deal, $39.90. It is a 4-star reviewed product. I have been recommending this to a lot of my patients and my YouTube followers for years. Literally, I think we're on 4 or 5 years now. And some of my patients just rave about how it helps vaginal dryness. It corrects that. It helps get rid of hot flashes and night sweats. It is another way of approaching balance from inside. So these products are wonderful top products that you can grab on Amazon. Link below. You'll find all of these available for you to grab and get delivered to you. But I definitely recommend building an arsenal of resources to help support your body that you can use instantly when you start to feel something's off. And we all know when it's off. Hope this has been helpful. Thanks for tuning in. And I will be monitoring comments for any of you who are watching after this live, but please follow me here on Amazon. Natural Health Resources is here on Amazon. I have a store on Amazon. I break out different categories of wellness products and fitness products for women over 40. I'm in my 40s and really, really appreciate your time and hope you'll support us here in our Amazon lives that are coming up through the new year. Have a great day, everybody.